Motherfuckers are so in tune with nature that they'll make a bird sound and the bird will show you where the honey is. And then there's a pack of 50 dogs following us, and the dogs aren't pets, they're hunting tools. So the dogs are the first line of defense. They sniff it out, and I'm like, I'm on a fucking insane experience right now. If I walk with one of the kids, it's like him giving me a tour of his house. He's like grabbing a snake and biting his head off. He's like, you want some? He takes out a slingshot, a pebble this big, bam, hits a fucking bush baby out of the tree, breaks his leg, puts it here. He's like, snack for later. And I'm like, I'm on a fucking insane experience right now. There was like a Catholic priest that set up a mission in that area. I met him. He's been trying to convert the Hadza to Catholicism for 20 years. And he's like, they use the Bible pages to smoke weed.
On Minnesota, there were a lot of horrific details that came out today about the suspect who's been charged there. Have you called the governor yet or been able to speak to any of them?
I don't really call him. Look, I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
Joe.
Dude, these underscore are so in tune with nature that they'll make a bird sound, and the bird will show you where the honey is. And then there's a pack of 50 dogs following us. And the dogs aren't pets, they're hunting tools. So the dogs are the first line of the defense. They sniff it out, and I'm like, I'm on a underscore insane experience right now. If I walk with one of the kids, it's like
Tim Walz is out there talking again.
These are bad guys, though. These are bad guys.
Did you say you could fight any Trump supporter?
Yeah, he says he kicked their ass. And
I think I could kick most of their ass. I do think that.
They're scared of him because he could fix a truck.
I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on that.
They're threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck.
No, I'm serious because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bullshitting.
Do you? I bet you don't.
How do we push some of those guys back under a rock? You don't think that's racism and misogyny?
I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools, you're fucked.
Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz, I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Well, he's a loser. The guy's a loser.
him giving me a tour of his house. He's like grabbing a snake and biting his head off. He's like, you want some? He takes out a slingshot, a rock, a pebble this big. Bam. Hits a underscore under bush baby out of the tree. He breaks his leg, puts it here. He's like, snack for later. And I'm like, I'm on.
He's a complete pathological liar.
Let's be honest. There are outsiders coming into communities, stealing and moving jobs away, and making life harder for people living there. And they have names, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square, lied about being a head coach of a football team.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
Pathological liars, people that are habitual liars, they just lie all the time about everything. Oh, you didn't deploy for war. You didn't. Why are you saying you deployed at war? The weapons you used in war? No, you were in war.
I plan on waking up on November 6th with Madam President.
I want to be clear, you won't be waking up together.
No, you weren't a head coach, you were the water boy. What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought some of that was weird.
A underscore insane experience right now. There was like a Catholic priest that set up a mission in that area. I met him. He's been trying to convert the Hadza to Catholicism for 20 years. And he's like, they use the Bible pages to smoke weed. On Minnesota, there were a lot of horrific details.
You haven't seen that? No. The video of him taking down the Minnesota flag and he replaced it with the new flag that looks a lot like the Somali flag. Minnesota has a huge population of Somalis in it.
Oh, wait a minute.
So he gets the flag, picks it up, moves it out of the way, and replaces it. Look at this.
There, that's better.
Why is that better? I don't know.
That came out today about the suspect who's been charged. There. Have you called the governor yet? Or been able to speak to any of them? I don't really call him. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling. Why would I call him? I could call him, say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway, even if the governor ran, the real governor, not the governor from Minnesota, he's a sick puppy, that guy. That poor guy, I feel sorry for him. But they made a bad choice with him.
A clue. He's a mess. So no, I could be nice and cold, but why? Waste time? Joe Rogan and President Trump could spend hours dismantling the carefully crafted image of a leader wrapped in Midwest politeness, turning slow answers and vague promises into comedic.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
This is what people love about Donald Trump. The fact that he would say this.
But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was. I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have period, but then I met Tim Walz.
Target practice. Every glittering pledge somehow fades into delays, detours, and endless committees that study problems. Instead of solving them, the charm feels scripted, the photo ops are staged, and the buzzwords flow nonstop. Perfect material for Rogan's biting humor and Trump's sharp jabs, exposing politics. Dressed as progress but stuck in permanent pause. Tim Walz is out there talking again. These are bad guys, though. Did you say he could fight any Trump supporter? Yeah, he said he kicked their ass. And I think kick most of their ass. I do. They're scared of him cause he could fix a truck. I think I scare him a little bit. Why? They spend so much time on him. They're threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck. No.
I saw the picture. And honestly, it was a very nice looking family. But his brother endorsed me, and the whole family endorsed me. I said, who are all the people? There's something weird with that guy. He's a weird guy. JD is not weird. He's a solid rock. I happen to be a very solid rock. We're not weird. We're other.
I'm serious because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bullying. Do you? I bet you don't. Moving some of those guys back under a rock. You don't think that's racism and misogyny? I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools, you're _. Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz. I think I could kick most of their ass. Oh boy, he'd be in trouble. Is there any way to know? Well, he's a loser, you know. I mean, the guy's a loser. Tim Walz moves through politics like a man who thinks every meeting is a chili cook-off judging contest. The self-satisfied grand, the exaggerated folksy.
That's a big one, man.
Stolen valor and all that.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August. Can you explain that discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke. And we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those